took one today. 10 minutes ago. It's positive. Pregnant lady coming through, okay? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Click the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you get notified every time I post a new video. So today is a different kind of video, okay? I'm sorry if you see me playing with my hair. I just wanted to fall perfectly for y'all, okay? It's been a while since I've been in front of the camera, but this deserves just an intro and an outro, okay? So I am sharing a vulnerable video today, which is my pregnancy journey, which I haven't really discussed. The last time I discussed this was I think it was my yearly roundup or my yearly update from the year before. I think either 2022. It was like a chit chat and I glazed over it very lightly, but just never really talked about it. So as you can tell by the title, I am currently pregnant. At this moment, I am pregnant. I am in my second trimester, and we're like halfway through, okay? And I just feel like now in this moment of my pregnancy, I feel more comfortable to talk about it, and just certain clips I've inserted in this video that I want to like actually go into detail and just give you the run up, because it's very spotty, okay? It's very spotty, very vague, and I don't think this video deserves to be vague as it is. So I am currently pregnant. I've been pregnant before. This is my second pregnancy, but this will be my first child, which means that I had a miscarriage. I had a miscarriage exactly a year from when I got pregnant again. So literally, I'm laughing because every time I think about it, my due date is literally the same. So I feel like, you know, things just happen just to happen, but in the same time, I don't think it's a coincidence here or there. But yeah, so my first pregnancy was a miscarriage, and with that situation, I was only pregnant for 2 to 3 months. So I was entering my 3rd month, but it just did not work out. It was a lot of factors. 2022 was the toughest year of my adulthood. A very challenging year, and I felt like stress really took over my body. Like, that year was not really pleasant for me. I'm not gonna lie, that year was just not for your girl, okay? And at that moment in my life, I was just not ready to be a mother. But like, when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, maybe this is what I needed. I didn't look at it as in the worst thing that could happen. So when I ended up losing that pregnancy, which at the time I was pregnant with twins, which is ridiculous to think about. Like, what? Y'all, I was just sitting here like, what am I going to do? This is a lot. And yes, I am married, and yes, it's gonna be me and my husband, but two at the same time, child, yes. But I'm still gonna be very vague because it's still something traumatic I've experienced. I'm just gonna say that advocate for yourself. Now, why I'm sharing this now is because spending a lot of time on TikTok, as everybody does, especially, as I said, this is my first time being a mother, and just comparing and hearing other people's experiences and what I went through, it made me want to surely be an advocate for myself. I had terrible experiences with certain midwives last year, terrible experiences with the doctor I was working with, they didn't listen to me, and just things just went left because of the lack of care, and for me, the lack of knowledge, since it was being my first pregnancy and not knowing what to advocate for and how to advocate and how to actually put my foot down and say, hey, look, you're wrong. Come to find out I was right. So September 2022, I found out I was pregnant the first week. Literally, it was just a thought. You know, when people be like, when you know, it happened twice. So for me, it's true. When I know, and it becomes that. So when I found out, went to the doctor to confirm, it marked that I was 6 weeks pregnant, but I couldn't get an ultrasound. So, you know, I just waited a bit, where I was supposed to hit 7 to 8 weeks, went back in 8 weeks, and they couldn't find the sac. So the OBGYN I went to at the time sent me to the emergency room because they assumed that I was experiencing an ectopic pregnancy. But in reality, I wasn't, and I knew deep down I was not experiencing that. But just for safety measures, I went to the hospital just to verify. So when I got there, not only I felt like, I hate to say it like this, but it's really what it is. I just feel like the people who were supposed to examine me and make sure I was good were kind of incompetent, because from the moment of doing the blood test, I don't know, you know, it's just, it wasn't working out. The lady spilled one of the vials. She couldn't find my vein, and I'm telling you right now, I've been to the doctor a few times. It's right here, baby. It's not hard to find. And I'm only saying this because I know some people are going to be like, well, you're not a nurse, you don't know. Baby, I feel like it's just the same thing with hair or just a house. You don't necessarily have to be a specialist at something to know that somebody's doing something wrong. If it look wrong, 9 out of 10, it's probably wrong. And this was one of the red flags that was popping up. So after that experience, child, just me thinking about it, went through it, got another ultrasound. Even the girl who was doing the ultrasound, I just felt like this was her first time doing the ultrasound. I just could tell she wasn't confident in what she was doing, okay? And then after just the ultrasound and just the mishap with the blood test, I had a resident doctor come to me, try to explain to me that I was experiencing a chemical pregnancy. And then another doctor that came in and said that I probably had a false positive and that I was never pregnant at all. So these two doctors are saying two different things, which means you don't know what's going on with me, nor are you bothered to figure out what's going on with me. The reason being because my pregnancy test, the P-stick, still came back positive, but the doctor concluded that my blood test came back negative. In my heart of hearts, I knew it was wrong, and I knew that that blood test was inaccurate. Let me tell you how I knew. It's not much to it. I just feel like I'm a very intuitive person, that I knew for a fact that blood test was inconclusive just by the experience alone. And the way the doctor was trying to make it seem like it was made up in my mind, and I'm looking at this man like, neither you or your resident doctor know what they're talking about, because you're not even on the same page, nor are you bothered to figure out what's going on with me. You know what I'm saying? Either, like, let's say it wasn't an ectopic pregnancy and it was false positive. What is going on with my body that would trigger that? Even though I knew in my heart I was still pregnant. And what kept ringing in my husband's mind and mine, my husband and in my mind, both our minds, I'm sorry, because I'm just trying to run it back, was that I'm probably way earlier than what they think I am for why it's not showing, okay? But to them, as I said, they just did not take the steps to verify what was going on with me, and that irritated me. You know, it just irritated me, and I felt like I didn't advocate for myself and put my foot down and looked at this doctor and said, well, you need to figure out what's wrong with me, because that's the reason why I'm paying health insurance. Figure it out. Don't sit here and come close to my face and talk about, oh, it's made up in my mind. Sir, I did not wake up and just decide, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this pregnancy test positive and just come here. Like, that's not how that works. And so just the shock and the dismissiveness of that doctor, and just him not being on the same page with his resident doctor, and just everyone that was working on me just felt very incompetent at their job. The only person out of the hospital was the nurse who took my pregnancy test. Well, you know, processed my pregnancy test, the pee stick. And she pulled me aside and she was like, you know, it's actually very weird for your blood test to be negative and your pregnancy test to be positive. If I were you, I would schedule an appointment with another OBGYN. And what that showed me was that, one, not only is this white doctor, this white male doctor, was dismissing me, he didn't even advise me to go back to my OBGYN. He was just like, yeah, it just doesn't exist. You made this up in your mind. Just keep pushing. You were never pregnant to begin with. So just the mourning and just the lack of care I felt, and not having a voice in my situation, I scheduled my OBGYN, and I went to another one, which is now currently, sorry about that, currently my OBGYN. When I came in and told her what happened, and I was just like, yeah, I just want to make sure everything in my uterus is working, because this is what I was told. And she was looking at me like, that sounds very bizarre. And I was like, well, that's what I thought. And to be honest, I would like another blood test, because I feel like that blood test is inconclusive. Well, guys, come to find out, my gut feeling, my intuition was completely right, because my blood test came back positive. My HGC level was high. Every test she took of me, my P test came back positive still. And there was you could see a 5-week sac showing up in the ultrasound. So what me and my husband assumed it was what it was. I was too early for the reason why it didn't show on the ultrasound, and for the fact that that was my experience prior, and just that nurse alone pulling me aside and telling me to go to the OBGYN, like, you know, made me feel like I should have just chose another OBGYN to begin with, and I should have listened to my intuition and put more emphasis on the situation. Because what follows after that, I don't know, is it because for me, even though everyone was trying to convince me and tell me, well, blood tests are 99.9% accurate, you know, if it says it's, you know, negative, then you're not pregnant. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, it's still a possibility to have a wrong blood test. It can come back wrong. Not all the time it's accurate. That's why that 0.1% matters. Okay? And the fact that I let people come in my mind and made me believe that I was making this all up, and, you know, just overworked myself, stressed myself out that week, stopped taking my prenatals, just felt like going through a mental breakdown. I felt like those were factors for what triggered my miscarriage, because I literally went cold turkey until that following week, literally 8 days later, finding out I was 5 weeks pregnant. But by then I felt like it was too late, because 2 days later I started bleeding. It was spotting, and I was like, okay, that's weird. So I called my doctor, and she was like, you know, it's normal, it's implantation bleeding, this, that, and the third. So I gave it a few more days, and it just would not stop, and it just kept getting worse. The bleeding became heavy, but me, I was just sitting there. I was like, this cannot be right. Let me give it a few, like, something is wrong. But like, after everything I went through, I was just like, let me give myself time to see like what was going on, because I wasn't bleeding like a period bleeding. It was more so spotting, but the spotting kept getting bigger when I did spot. And I just was like, okay, I don't know how implantation bleeding works. I've heard stories of people having their periods and still pregnant. So I was in still denial. I was still in denial that I was going through a miscarriage, because I was like, ain't no way this is happening. So I started counting, and I gave myself 2 weeks. I did. I was in denial for 2 weeks. And the last 2 days, it was 11 days straight, I was bleeding. It got heavier by the 10th day. And I remember getting up, and I had one of my old friends, because we're no longer friends, but someone I used to be acquaintance with came to see me. And I remember looking at her saying, the baby is not gonna make it. And she looked at me and she was like, I get why you would feel like that with everything that happened. You know, you're just thinking negative, you know, think positive. You know, you're gonna hold your baby next year. And I was like, yeah, it's not giving that. That's like, and it came off pessimistic, but in my heart, I just knew this was a failing battle. Because from the beginning to the end, it was not a joyous experience, okay? And that was a Wednesday, and that following Thursday, the next day, 6 a.m. in the morning, I woke up to the worst cramps of my life and just blots looking at me. And at that moment, I knew it was done. And when I called the physician, asked for an emergency appointment just to check what was going on, and by the time I got there, got an ultrasound, the baby was nowhere in the sac. Okay, well, basically, yeah, the sac looked empty, basically. And so after the ultrasound, and I was approached by one of the midwives. It was the most condescending, dismissive conversation I've ever had with a medical professional. And the way she just spoke to me and just was like, yeah, this happens every day. Like, yeah, you know, you had a miscarriage, you're going through a miscarriage, you just gotta let it go through. The exit's on the left, and have a good day. And I was sitting there like, that's it? You're not gonna tell me anything else? You could have been more sympathetic, you could have been more empathetic. I get it. I know with your job, you experience people losing children every day, I guess, and that to you, it doesn't faze you. But at some point, even if you don't feel empathetic, you can fake it, because that is your job. And the fact that she didn't even bother, as if I interrupted her lunch, to kick me out and just told me to get over it, I was just like, oh wow. If you knew the weeks I just went through, that, you know, even though it's not her business care, she's not obligated to care, I get it, but still, sympathy would have went a long way for me. And that right there, I just was like, this was very tough. Like, I already had a year where I felt dismissed. I was fighting for my life, for my mental health, and to be in this position where everyone who's supposed to look out for you, who's supposed to evaluate you and do their jobs, are not doing their jobs and treat you like the scum of the earth, you know, that was like the cherry on top for me, basically. And at that point, which was not even like the most traumatic point for me, was actually having to go through the process and fully miscarry and see what could have been, and to see my children the way I saw them, and to know that this is how they end, it just took a part of me that I feel like you can never get back. Like, I know people treat miscarriages like it happens all the time, it's regular. No, it should never be regular. Stuff like that should never be made normal the same way, because at the end of the day, it's a death. It's a death. And it's not like those same fetus can be recreated again. No, once you lose that child, you're creating a whole new person. So a potential doctor, you don't know who this fetus could have been. It was lost. Genuinely was lost. And it does something to your mental as a woman, where it's like, what did I do wrong? Why is this happening to me? Even when you think you didn't want it, at that moment you realize how much you wanted it, which is so hard to explain, but the ones who know. And going through it, it took me so long to grieve. Like, I just went through the motions for the first 3 months, and just literally after that, I just went to work straight and just worked and distracted myself, and just never came face to that reality of what happened to me. And when I really couldn't run away from it anymore, the grieving really took a toll on me and really did something to me. And it just made me question if I wanted to even try to have a kid again, if this was going to happen again, if I even want to bother to put myself in that position again, because of how everything went, and how no one listened to me, and how, I'm just another number, especially being a black woman. And I knew that if I were to be in that position, I don't want to be treated like that. I want to be heard. And so after grieving, which, you still grieve, it never fades, it's always in the back of your mind, but in a sense you don't let it affect your day. And literally a miracle happened, and I call it a miracle because literally I was not trying to have another kid. It was very unexpected. It was not something I was aiming for anytime soon. So when it happened, it was just my intuition telling me again that, hey girl, you're pregnant. And I'm like, and not again? Again? Really? Wow. And to find out literally a year and a day later that I'm pregnant, this pregnancy for the first 4 months gave me so much anxiety because of what I went through before. And I felt like, with the morning sick, all the regular pregnancy symptoms, I just never made myself believe I was really pregnant. I just knew that something was happening to my body, but I never fully processed, like, hey, look, something is growing. It always amazed me every time I went to my appointments, and I was like, oh my God, the baby's growing, the baby's growing. Because that was not my experience before. And it was just now at this point in my pregnancy, making it halfway there, and seeing my little boy playing, like, not necessarily playing, but just seeing him alive, having the hiccups, kicking, moving, covering his face. And it's like, I have another chance of bringing life again, and I have another chance of being a mother again, even though I didn't see it for myself for a while. And so, y'all, I can't stress this enough. Advocate for yourself. Find people in that profession that truly shows that they care and listen to you. And that takes every step that you want to take to make sure you and your child is good. And I am blessed to say that, you know, my situation last year is not my situation now. I have an amazing team of midwives and doctors that work with me, and how attentive they are to me, and how they take such good care of me, and how they are taking every step, every test to make sure my child and my body is good to carry. Means the world to me. It just means the world to me. It gives me a sense of comfort and just a relief that, you know, I'm in good hands. And that was something I prayed for if I were to ever be in this position again, to birth another child. So, well, not another, but to actually birth a live child. And to be here again, there you go, kicking. To be here again and to experience motherhood, and knowing that right now, ooh, guys, okay. To know that in 2024, I will be having a child, that is crazy to me. I can't believe it. I feel blessed. Me and my husband is very happy. Even though I felt like I wasn't ready, what they say is true, you're never ready. But I can say I'm in a way better place in my life than I was before to welcome this child. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I am in love. I am in love. From here on out, I'm just hoping and praying for a safe delivery, and that me and my baby comes through alive and well and healthy, and to just see my beautiful baby boy grow up to be the wonderful man I hope I can mold into will be a dream of mine. I know it comes with challenges. I just know there's so much trials waiting for me, but the love and just the endurance it took to get here outweighs that. So thank y'all for all the comments and messages on all my social media platforms congratulating me about my pregnancy and me having my baby boy. I always knew it was a baby boy. From the moment I was pregnant, I knew it was a baby boy. Everything said boy. So when it was confirmed it was a boy, I was like, I knew it. My intuition has never led me wrong. Okay? And to know that, you know, I'm taking it one step at a time, one day at a time. These pregnancy symptoms are not for the weak. They are not. Just to get ready today to film this video took a lot out of me. That's why I felt the need to share this story and to come in before sharing everything else of the video clips I have, just because I felt like it was a story that needed to be shared. I'm in a better place. I'm in a healing place from it, and that experience alone has taught me a lot of lessons for this current pregnancy. So advocate, know your rights, have people who's by you, stand by you. I'm thankful that I do have someone, and I have people like that in my life right now, especially, who's advocating for me, especially in that space. And to take everything in with a grain of salt. I know that the world is looking at pregnancy as a terrible thing, but to each its own, and for me it's a beautiful thing, and I look forward to it. And I want to thank y'all again for just even clicking this video. I hope this video gets to you. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get this show on the road. I'm gonna be whispering because I don't want my husband to hear. Today is September 4th, 2023. Last year, September 6th, 2022, I found out I was pregnant. What the hell? No. I have to take this moment because April. Today is September 13th. As you guys can see. Today will either, well, I took 2 more pregnancy tests on top of the 6 I did over the weekend. And they all said positive. And took 2 more today. 2022, September 13th, they were positive. I cannot believe I'm going to be a mother. October 6th, exactly a month, I found out I was pregnant. I found out September 6th, 2022. Today is October 6th, 2022. And it was confirmed today that I am actually miscarrying, like right now, and have been miscarrying for the last 10 days. So when I found out I was still pregnant, that's when I started miscarrying. I'm in late 8 days, and I took 4 pregnancy tests. They all said negative. I took one today, 10 minutes ago. It's positive. I don't know how to feel. My heart is beating literally 2 days early, but almost exactly a year ago, I'm pregnant again. And I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So I'm gonna go tell him. Because I don't think I can keep this to myself.
You're pregnant?
I'm pregnant.
You took the test?
I'm pregnant.
Okay, congratulations.
Why are you not shocked? I'm shaking.
I already knew.
I'm shaking.
Boy, you really give me high. Ooh, I feel like I'm on dope, 'cause you said.
You know, he wasn't taking me seriously, but I wasn't taking myself seriously either. It was just a feeling that told me, like, baby girl, you're pregnant. You're pregnant. You pregnant. Okay. So, y'all, and I'm doing this vlog style because I want to just have these clips in real time. Disclaimer. Okay, so, y'all, I've been having symptoms like crazy for the last 2.5 weeks, but it never dawned on me after telling my husband I feel like I'm pregnant that they were pregnancy symptoms. I really made myself believe, like, if you have been watching the vlogs the month of September, August, I've been repeating how tired I was, even when I got sick, like things like that. Like, I was just saying how tired I was, how exhausted I was, how hungry I was, and I fast a lot, so I don't necessarily crave food as often. But this time, like, homegirl, and I'm speaking of me, I don't even know why I'm referring to myself in third person. I'm like literally passing out because I'm so hungry. And it's not clicking to me. It's the same hunger pains I felt last year. So, anyways, so I was feeling extremely hungry, extremely tired. I kept telling my husband, like, I just feel like I'm not sleeping enough. I feel extremely fatigued. I was like, maybe I'm not eating enough vitamins. Like, I don't know what it is. So, I've been calculating my period, y'all, and I knew when my period was supposed to start. The day my period was supposed to start, I saw one little droplet, just one. And I rushed to put a pad because it's like, oh, my period's here, you know, whatever. Not thinking much of it. There's no period. So I said, all right, cool. You know, I've been tired. A lot's been going on. I haven't been stressed, but I've been very active. Maybe it's like pushing my period. Day 2 goes, no period. I said, all right. So I went to Walgreens. I bought me a 5-pack pregnancy test. And I was like, for sure I have to be pregnant. Like, for sure I have to be pregnant. It's been 2 days late. My period don't skip no days. It'll prolong, but it won't skip no days because I was cramping. My titties feel sore. I was like, I gotta be pregnant. Bought the packets. I took 4 tests every day after that. So all the way up to Friday. My period was supposed to start on Monday. Tuesday, I waited, it wasn't there. And Tuesday, I saw the droplet, but nothing came. And then from here on, like Tuesday, I took the pregnancy test on to Friday. Keep that in mind. I had one more pregnancy test. Those 4 pregnancy tests kept showing up negative. So at this point, I was like, if I'm not pregnant, something's wrong with my body, because my body would not miss a period. I've been really relaxed. I've been really chill. So I try not to think much of it. It's Saturday. It's Sunday. I'm lit. Me and one of my best friends, and I don't know if she want me to say her name, so I'm not gonna say her name. Actually, lies. I've posted her before on my channel, but one of my best friends, Angelise, we both went to a spa. We had a spa night. We went late at night, child. Went to enjoy ourselves. Just chilling. I'm relaxing. Saturday comes up, still relaxing, still chilling. Sunday pulls up. I see my other best friend, April. Me and her is literally having a conversation, and I'm telling her, yo, my period is like 8 days, you know, it's pulling on 8 days late by the time I have my appointment. Now, here's the thing. I've been having ovulation pains ever since after my miscarriage, when my period started, when I got back on birth control. So I had to get off just so my hormones can regulate and see if there's any other problems than that. So my appointment been set for like 3 months, which was this past Tuesday, which was yesterday, which was September 5th. Yeah, September 5th. So Sunday we're walking, we're talking, and I'm telling her like, yo, my period has not shown up. Like, it's been 6 days, friend. Like, at this point, it's giving pregnancy, but all of them come out negative. And she was like, well, that's not how you take the pregnancy test. Man, what are you talking about? She was like, you gotta give it a week. I felt dumb because last year, today makes it exactly last year. That's why I'm making this video current, okay? Exactly a year ago, 365 days, September 6th of 2022, I was supposed to start my period, and that's the night I found out I was pregnant the first time. So her telling me this, I'm like flabbergasted. I said, okay, so I might be really pregnant. As I said, I'm still dismissing it, even though deep down inside I know I'm pregnant. I know it. I don't know why I'm denying myself, but I know it. Monday rolls up. As I said, even the time on that Sunday I met up with my friend, even Friday night I met up with my friend, my other two friends, like I was extremely tired. Like the fatigue was upping the ante at this point. Like at first it was like fatigue, like hunger, but it was stepping up another notch. So I was napping like nobody's business. So Monday rolls around, we have all these activities, and I just wake up so tired. Like I just could not move, and I'm looking at my husband like, I don't know if I can move today. Like it's Labor Day and I just wanted to sleep in. But I pushed myself to clean the house because I was like, let me stop being lazy. Yeah, you're tired, but like stop being lazy. Clean down the house. So I literally started deep cleaning the house, mopping, doing laundry, everything. But I'm still extremely tired even though I'm pushing through. Child. We went to run some errands. I'm yawning all day. We out to like 5 p.m. We left the house at like 12. Came back home 5 p.m. But on our way back, my husband was like, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're giving me the same symptoms you had last year when you were pregnant. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, it's just something I noticed. Now, let's rewind. Thursday, I had my nephew. My nephew is 10 months at this moment. He's going to be 11 months next week. Keep this in mind. My nephew is not a clingy baby. Especially to me, he's not clingy. Like, he'll miss me. He's a very loving baby, but he's very independent. Like, he shows signs like he knows himself. He plays with himself, this, that, and the third. So, and he's a people lover. Like, he loves people. He loves when people play with him, things like that. But this particular Thursday, he ain't want nobody to touch him but me and his mom. But at the time, his mom wasn't present. Everyone's trying to play with him. Everybody's trying to hold him. And he's like, like, every time they grab him, he's like reaching back for me. He's not fussing with me. Like, when I tell you my nephew was so well behaved with me, to the point when he started freaking out and stuff, he freaked out like with other people still trying to get him. And that's when my sister was like, oh, he's hungry because I didn't have a chance to feed him. That's why he's throwing this tantrum. And in my head, I'm like, why didn't he throw this tantrum with me? Like, I had him for a while, y'all. I wish I was joking, because usually my sister feed him before I have him. So when she was looking at me, she was like, nah, homie's hungry. That's why he don't want to sleep. Like, I could see he want to sleep, but he just not in it. And I said, like, I'm so surprised he wasn't freaking out. And I was the only person to calm him at the time. And as I'm telling my husband this, I'm not thinking much of it. So after he told me, like, yo, you're showing the same symptoms, I'm like, maybe. I didn't think much of it. He was like, yeah, like, and your nephew was real clingy. The last time, last year, I took this pregnancy test. I never even told the story how I found out I was pregnant the first time. Anyways, that was last year. I had a client who had a godson, and he was just as clingy. But what was different is I never met this child before. But this child wanted to be under me so much. And if you're Caribbean, you know, they always say when a baby is clingy to you, a lot of times you're pregnant. They sense the baby before you. I don't know how, but so far in my situation, it has always been accurate. So when my husband was telling me all this, I was like, maybe I should take another test, because you pulling up some good points. So we get home, I rush upstairs, I take my last pregnancy test. As I said, I had a 5-pack, used up all 4. So I took the last one. For some reason, this particular one, as you guys could see from the clip before, I was shaking. I was so nervous. I don't know why I was so nervous, but I was so nervous. But I was telling to myself, I'm being over dramatic. It's gonna come out negative like the other 4. Like, you don't need to trip about nothing. The moment I finished that statement in my head, I see the first line. And the first line ain't supposed to show, baby. But for me, I was like, maybe I'll put this under the light. Maybe my light is too bright in this bathroom. Because ain't no way. Because the line was so faint. But I was like, no, I've seen this line before. I said, you know what? Let me let this pregnancy test dry up and just see if really what I think I'm seeing is what I'm seeing. I gave it 2 minutes. I came back. That thing, okay? Clear blue. Clear blue, okay? Straight up told me I'm pregnant. Hey, I'm pregnant. And I was so shook because it was like, oh my gosh, I've thought about kids. Me and my husband plan on having and trying again. But for it to happen exactly a year later, even though if you watch my Chit Chat Get Ready With Me video, I've mentioned that I felt like I was going to get pregnant this year. Just like I knew I was going to get pregnant last year. So this time I just couldn't believe like I'm actually pregnant just like I thought I was. And exactly the same time I was pregnant before. There's something in August. My anniversary month do me dirty every time, y'all. Be careful with them anniversaries. Child, I got pregnant on my anniversary month. And again, found out I was pregnant like, what, a few days after. Isn't that crazy? That is so crazy to me. But this time I feel like what made me shook is because for me, I know this pregnancy is going to come to full term and I'm going to come home with my child. Like, I don't believe this is the child I lose. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable, but I'm going to be vulnerable after I give birth to this child. Because this journey of last year and coming full circle again and being in a whole different place in life than I was last year, like, I'm so much more at peace with being pregnant at this moment in my life. I'm not scared. Like, I know it's going to change my life, but one, this is not my first rodeo. Two, I've been preparing for this moment in my life for a while now. So it's just putting those plans into action. But other than that, like, I feel very confident in this child. Right at this moment, as I'm filming this video, I am 4 weeks and 5 days. So every Friday I turn a new week. So I get to see my baby in 2 weeks. And I am eagerly excited because I just know this is going to be a good pregnancy. In the name of Jehovah God, I just can feel it. I knew last year I was going to have a miscarriage. I felt it. But this one, I know, like, this child is coming to full term. It's going to be a healthy baby. I'm going to have a good labor and delivery. I'm going to be loved this season. My child is going to be loved. And I'm just going to be in a good space where I can be the best mother I can be. So I always told myself when I come back to this moment in my life, I'm going to document it because I know it will succeed. Like, I know. And now that we're here, I'm recording 4 weeks, 5 days. So yeah, now let's get into the symptoms. Because child, the symptoms is symptoming. Okay. So my symptoms. So it's so crazy. This happened to me the last pregnancy. The moment my brain realized I'm pregnant, it's showing out. Now, the best thing about it, and I'm so blessed, I am not taking advantage, like taking it for granted. I have no nausea. Just like last year, I did not have any nausea. The only thing I'm feeling at this moment that is consistent is the peeing. I'm peeing a lot. My sleeping schedule is thrown all the way out of whack. Now for some reason between 4 or 5 to 5 p.m. I am wide awake. Like I have this boost of energy between 4 to 5 a.m. and I'm not a morning person. Like I can't even get out of bed by like 6. So I'm very surprised. But I have to take a nap right after. Like once it started hitting 9 a.m., 10 a.m., I need to go to sleep. So technically my days, and this is even before I found out, but my day's been starting at like 12:50, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Trying to shake it off, but I realize my body needs to rest, so I'm gonna just listen to my body. I'm not gonna be a butt face about staying awake. There's no point. A lot of gas. Very TMI, but a lot of gas. And a lot of headaches. I've been getting a lot of headaches. So, and usually I get the headaches when I try not to take my naps. So if I feel tired and I don't take a nap, my headaches turn into migraines like that. And I don't suffer from migraines, so this is a very different experience for me. I've been having migraines every day, y'all. Like for the past 2 weeks, I've been having migraines like crazy, and I have to go to sleep. It don't matter where I am, like I have to be knocked out. Last year, my nap time was like 3, 4 p.m. No, now my nap time is at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. because I've been up since 4, 5 a.m. So now it's time to go back to sleep, which is so weird because it makes it harder for me to work. So pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. Okay? And a lot of bloating. I am bloated to the T. That is one of the symptoms. So I just feel really, really big. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I've never eaten so often in such a long time since my last pregnancy. As I said, I don't eat a lot. Like I gain a lot of weight, but that pregnancy weight I had last year just never left. I gained 10 pounds from the last one. It ain't never left. I've been working now. I've been doing everything. My goal before getting pregnant was to lose 50 pounds. Now we're here. Now we're here. But I'm still going to be working out while pregnant. Got me a stepper. Already kicked in 100 steps in the house. Going to go for a walk. Like light workout, light stretches. Really changing my diet completely. Which I already did, but like now it's like, and yeah, so I just got cramping, a lot of bloating, but now I don't feel embarrassed by my bloating because why? I am growing a baby, okay? So if I want to look big, I look big, okay? You see, I'm already yawning. All I do is yawn. To the point my husband was like, dang, like all you do is yawn. Like we could be talking, I'd be like, oh, like just look, I'm about to yawn. So I learned that I need to just, when I have the energy, I just have to hop on it. I just have to hop on it. So yeah, that is my symptoms. That is my story time, how I found out I was pregnant. And by the time y'all watch it, y'all gonna find out like November, because that's when I enter my second trimester. Yeah, this time I'm like 2 weeks earlier than last year. So I got pregnant 2 weeks earlier than last year, so my due date moved up 2 weeks earlier, but I'm still gonna give birth the same month I was supposed to give birth this year. Isn't that crazy? I'm telling you, this baby gonna make it. I'm excited. I decided that I'm gonna be taking it slow. I'm not gonna let nothing stress me. So this time around, I'm keeping this pregnancy very private. Very, very private. And just relaxing. And what I mean by relaxing, like I'm still working, but I'm going to be listening to my body at this point. Last year I didn't listen to my body. I kept pushing myself to do 10-hour shifts, things like that. No. Especially I'm knowing it this early on. Yeah, I need this baby to make it. I need to be clear. I need to make it to the safe zone. So we gonna take care of little chia seed right now. So let me show y'all where I'm at. I have to relog into my app. Who is this? I don't know who that is. What to expect. I had this app last year. As I said, I turned 5 weeks this Friday, but this is where I'm at. My baby is a poppy seed, okay? This poppy seed is acting out, okay? Has no face, no nothing. And this poppy seed doing the most. Okay, but you know what? It can do the most. I'm fine with that. Okay, causing me all the symptoms. This is what it looked like. I don't know if I can show it. This is what it looked like in me right now by making me bloat like crazy. So, yeah. That's where I am. So, I'm excited. As I said, they scheduled me for an earlier doctor's appointment. I was supposed to go in on my 8th week. That's typically when they ask you to come in for your first ultrasound. But they're asking me to come on my 7 weeks instead because of my miscarriage last year, just to make sure the baby's growing and things like that. Before I go, the last part of the story time, I forgot when I went to the doctor's office and they confirmed that I was pregnant. So, as I said, I took the pregnancy test and I saw it. I was shook. I learned my lesson. Last year, I took like 8 pregnancy tests. And I don't know why, but I just couldn't believe that I was pregnant, so I just kept taking it. That was the first time in my life. So this time around, I just knew if it said I'm pregnant, I am pregnant. So my doctor's appointment was at 8:30. And when I got there, things like that, I let the nurse know, like, hey, look, I took a pregnancy test yesterday. It said I'm pregnant. Can you confirm for me? So they checked my ovaries. I did a sonogram last night. The doctor's appointment, just to make sure my ovaries are fine, because that's what I was complaining about. So there was nothing more to it. Thank Jehovah God. And what's so crazy is she did it in the dark, like a regular pregnancy test, and it didn't show up as strong because, as I said, it was a faint line up very early. So when it finally dried up, because at first she was like, it's not really showing, it's not really showing. But once we were done and she went back and opened all the lights, she was like, oh, it says you're pregnant. Let me take an HGC test to make sure. And then she came back and she said, congratulations, you're pregnant. And I was like, oh my God. To the point she sent me home with the pregnancy test. I'm like looking at this lady like, I got one at home. Like I learned from before. If it said I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. So that's that. I'll be back sharing the ultrasound. And I know it's gonna go smooth. Definitely. This baby, daddy been waiting for this baby. Everybody's been waiting for this baby. Every time I call family, are you pregnant yet? Well, by the time they find out, y'all could be off my neck. Y'all got the kid now. Y'all been wishing for the kid. You got the kid now. God has answered your prayers, has answered my prayers. That's another reason why we're in this house. And yeah, we're here. We are here. And I am ready. Even though I've been having headaches and all these symptoms, I'm literally just enjoying my time and just pacing myself I'm not really getting agitated. I'm not doing none of that. It is what it is. If that's what my child want to do to me in my body so it can properly grow, it can do that, okay? It is what it is. I'm not tight about it. So yeah, I decided I'm gonna romanticize my pregnancy as well as my parenthood. I know we hear that a lot, but like everything has to be perfect in order to have a child. When you see how a child is formed, how it's brought to the world, how it grows, how it develops, like so many things have to be right for this to go right. And I don't take that for granted. And being given this chance, I want to show myself, and not really myself, but God, how much I appreciate this gift, even though it's gonna really kick my booty, but we're gonna do it with love. We're gonna take it with love. All right, so yeah, that's that. I'm still trying to get used to yawning.
You said you're trying to regular.
Good morning, y'all. Ooh, face is glowing. I'm gonna do it in the house because it's freezing cold outside, and it didn't bother it, and I was inspired by Jaleesa. Okay, so I'm kind of taking pieces here and there. I already got my props. Thank God this room is empty. Sorry about the change of lighting. This light is not the best in the house at all. I got my lanterns. I got my vases. I'm gonna get taller vases to complement this, my garlands. And I'm gonna post a picture of my inspo where I'm getting pieces. And these, I'm gonna also buy like 2 white sheets, 2 to 3, I think. I think 2 will be enough as the background drape for my background drop bar. And yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. So, don't mind the kitchen light. I'll just stand here. So, that's what we got going on. I'm gonna tell the photographer to come out to give me time to get ready and stuff and pick out the fits for me and my husband. And we have a dresser to pick up. So while I'm picking those dressers up with my husband, I'll get the blankets, I'll get the candles and fake candles to light up, and the vases. And yeah, that's what we got going on, y'all. This is like my biggest activity today. Other than that, we chilling. But it's my announcement shoot. It's time to announce baby C is coming, okay? And then in 2 weeks, gender reveal. And then after gender reveal, 3 months baby shower. After 3 months, y'all, I'm giving birth. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? But we have a lot of fun stuff coming up. I'm excited. I'm excited about taking these pictures. Gender reveal. Secure location. I'm not the one doing it. My job is to just show up, and it feels good that I'm just showing up. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. I'm about to go change, wake up my husband, and be like, hey, look, we gotta head over there and get this dresser. I'm really feeling some, I want some good coffee, and the coffee I want is from a coffee shop. I might stop, so we might have to leave early so I can get it, so we can get there and then come back. And I'm gonna just stop at like a Rainbow or something and get me some white bed sheets for the backdrops. And we head over here. But the vision is coming together. I'm very proud of myself. I woke up early. I gathered my stuff. Thank God I have a lot of decor just laying around. The theme color for this pregnancy, it's Black people nudes, okay? It's Black people nudes. It's very dark, soft, pastel colors. That's what we got going on. So let me show y'all my inspo. I did screenshot it because I'm gonna send it to my photographer. She lives in Dallas, so she's in town. So I just was like, let me worry about everything else. So this is my first inspo. Jaleesa just does it for me. And then this is my second. This one is way more simple. You see the garland? So I got some garlands as well. We're just gonna mesh the two. We're just gonna mesh the two. And then we're gonna go on from there.